Hello, my name's Marc Jeffrey, and you are listening to episode 15 of the Marc Jeffrey Podcast Show, brought to you by MPC Solutions. Hiya, ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful, beautiful people, you. On this episode, I want to introduce to you a guy that I've known now, it must be about a year. He's like me, he's a fellow postman, but I've called him into the studio because I kind of want to get to know him a little bit better. He's a top guy, and I really, really do think you're going to like him. But before I do, I just want to get a little bit serious here with you for a few minutes. I wanted to say a few words about the horrific terror attack that took place in Manchester on Monday evening. Now, first of all, my thoughts and my love and my prayers go out to all of the families and loved ones that were involved in this horrific incident. And as a parent of two young children, I cannot even imagine, what parents, family members, friends of these children, teenagers, whatever, must be going through. Now, any sick person who feels that it's right to strap a bomb to themselves and walk into a crowded building full of children, teenagers, anybody, any other part of the human race to prove a point is seriously, now I'm not going to swear, messed up. And I really don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm kind of like still in shock. How anyone could possibly do such attacks is, it's beyond me. Now, I don't want to sound like a preacher, as I'm not, and I don't consider myself to be an expert, and I don't consider myself to understand terrorism at all. But guys, as hard as it is right now, we all need to unite as a race, the human race. And we need to stop blaming religion and race for these horrific acts of violence. Now, today I've seen posts on social media urging the government to boot all Muslim scum from our country, deport Muslim terrorists, like every Muslim is evil. Guys, they are not. Not every Muslim is evil. What's wrong? What's wrong with people that believe this? Now, I'm not going to say much more about the matter because I know it affects a lot of people and a lot of people get angry and have their own beliefs. I think you kind of get my point, guys, don't you? Now, I feel terrorist organisations such as ISIS thrive on maximum exposure. They want us to be talking about them. And as hard as it is, I don't want this to sound disrespectful to those families or loved ones that may have lost loved ones. But let's not give them what they want. Let's not give these terrorists what they want. Don't let them stop you from going to music festivals, music venues, traveling away on your holidays, going on a bus or a train. Stand up, be vigilant, be strong. But most importantly, guys, don't judge those around you because of their race, colour of their skin, or the religion that they may follow. Now, these are my views, and like I say, I understand a few of you may not have the same opinion as me, and I respect that. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to open a beer, and I'm going to talk mental awareness and music with this week's special guest. Let's cheer it up a little bit, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Ben Robey from the Ben Robey Band. The Marc Jeffrey Podcast Show. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Ben. How are you keeping?
I'm all good, thank you.
Now, I called you in because this month, you may be aware, in the UK, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And in a bit, we're going to be talking a bit about that and your issues with mental health personally. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about your band, the Ben Robey Band. But first, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I didn't eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast person.
Do you know what? Quite a lot of people aren't. Why is that then? You just don't fancy it?
I just don't fancy eating at that time of the morning. Getting up as opposed to, it's just too early in the morning to eat. I put on enough weight as it is, and it's the worst time of day to eat. It's like stupid o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Or
Too
night.
True. Yeah. Well, I've had a week off the last week, so I haven't seen you much over the last week. Has it been a good one? Have I missed much?
I wouldn't say a good one. I don't often know of a good week in there, but you have the odd good day here or there. But you haven't missed much. Same faces, same job, same thing every day.
I've had some crazy things go on in my life the last week, funny enough. 2 things that I've never, ever done before. Number one, I was called up to DJ a wedding.
Oh,
people think because I do a bit of radio presenting and podcasting that I can stand up in front of about 100 people and do a bit of DJing, which it worked. It worked. You know, there wasn't no issues at all, but it was quite a bit nerve-wracking.
Did you get anything thrown at you?
No knickers or anything like that, mate. No. And also, I'm on this fasting diet. It's a 5 and 2 fasting diet where 5 days a week you just eat what you would normally eat and do the things you would normally do. But 2 days a week, and tomorrow is one of those days, I've got to do a fasting day where I only eat 600 calories. So I've done it on Monday and I do it on Thursdays, and it's a bit of a savage day, to be fair. Tomorrow, I've got to start off in the morning. I eat 1 boiled egg for breakfast. Then I got to eat an apple and a banana for lunch, and then for evening meal, I have a little tiny lump of cod that big,
right? Okay.
Right, and two pippets of broccoli.
Okay,
savage.
That doesn't sound like a good meal at all.
No, well, hopefully you'll get rid of this belly, mate. So something's got to happen anyway. But before we go on, I just want to. I'm going to talk about something. I wasn't going to bring it up, but for some reason, I don't know why, but I've got to talk to you about it. Now, last night I went upstairs. The kids were in bed, and before I went to bed, I had to go upstairs and check on my children. And I every night go up and check my children, like you do. But last night I sat there for a good 10 minutes just watching my children sleep, and basically because of what happened, on Monday night in Manchester, and I can't get my head around. The children were laid in bed there, looking so innocent, and children are so innocent, and I just could not get my head around how some sick, deluded person in an organisation or whatever you want to call it, would want to take the innocence from a child by walking into a room and just simply letting off a bomb. Now, I mean, I don't know really what to say about it, mate. I mean, it just hit me hard. As a parent, I mean, you're a parent yourself.
I am, yeah.
What do we do? I mean, because like I've said, you don't want to let these people win. You don't want to change your daily routine and let them win. But do you risk taking your children on trains, on a plane, at a music event? Just in case some sad sicko person is going to go and blow you up. Do you take the risk as a parent?
I believe you do. I think you nurture and protect your children the best you can do, but you carry on with a normal routine through life like you do every day.
You've got to. I mean, you can't let them win, but I mean, like I say, I just sat there last night watching my 2 children and thinking, what do you do as a parent? I mean,
it's not even a case of letting them win. I mean, why should the generation of my children not be able to enjoy life by traveling on trains and planes and going places because of what they're doing? Why should they suffer with that? They've done nothing wrong. They don't deserve to be held back and protected by us and sort of never experience things because of this situation. I believe that we protect them where we go to the best of our ability, but we still take them to all these places.
Where does it stop?
I don't think it ever will, and I don't think it ever will. I don't think it's ever going to stop.
I mean, as a country here in the UK, I've just been talking to Nikki, my girlfriend, about this just a minute ago, and she just started shaking her head. She says, "You can't stop doing what you do." I mean, these sort of things have been happening for years in the UK. I mean, for the 80s and the 90s, it was the IRA, and I said to her, "No, hold on." I said, "The IRA was different. The IRA blew up political places. They blew up stuff. They didn't blow up places where children would be." And she says, "No, you're wrong. They used to go into shopping centres and blow up shopping centres where children could be." So has this sort of terrorism changed from the IRA, do you think?
I think tactics have got a lot harsher. I think there's less sympathetic-minded people within what's going on at the moment. I believe they're one-track minded in what they believe in is right and anything else is wrong. And if it's wrong, then they don't care about consequences for us. And I think it's very dangerous. I do think it's totally different to what the situation of the RA. And I think it's going to get a lot worse yet.
You do?
I do, yeah.
So you cut me short there. I thought you was going to carry on talking.
I do think it's going to get a lot worse over time. I mean, they're already on about now the army foot soldiers working with the police or for the police and going on the high-risk areas on the streets. I mean, when's that going to end? Where does that stop? Theresa May can bring the threat level down again, and does it stop there? And then as soon as it does, will it start up again immediately? It's just going to be an ongoing situation now. I mean, you're
an ex-forces man yourself.
I am, yeah.
Do you think that by bringing the armed forces on the streets, is that going to act as a deterrent at all?
I think it could completely backfire, and I think it could encourage them to, or entice them into wanting to do more, to say, look, you're not scaring us. That tactic won't work with us. This is going to be the consequence for it. I think it could completely backfire on us.
Wise words. So your words for this is carry on doing what you would normally do and don't let them win.
Absolutely.
Totally agree with you. Anyway, that's a little bit of something that I wasn't going to say, but for some reason I just had to say it. Moving swiftly on, you're in a band. And they are the Ben Robey Band.
It's my band.
It's your band. How long has it been going for, mate?
We've been going for 3 years as a band.
Right.
It started off with me as a solo artist. I met my partner, Jen. I took a break because we were having a child. And when I came back, I said I can't go back doing it on my own again. It was great when I was doing it before, but it was ending up that I was drinking every day and I wasn't earning much because of it. And it was just, I was 5 nights a week out all the time, just playing my music and then drinking. And it wasn't a lifestyle I could carry on. And I know that I knew I had to bring myself down and back into control. And by doing that, I thought if I have a band, it would progress the sound of what I do. It would be fun for me. I'll have other people. The enjoyment will be there again. And I'll reteach myself what it was all about in the first place.
It's a very difficult thing being in a band, isn't it? I mean, it's very much similar to the work that I do, with my radio work and my podcasting. It kind of like can take over your whole world if you let it. And, when it's easy when you're younger, when you haven't got a wife and a family, but when you have, you've got to draw a line there somewhere, haven't you, where you say, look, enough's enough. I'm going to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night and be with the family the rest of the week. Do you find that?
I'm still trying to find that boundary of where that line is. Jen goes mad at me because there's times I'm away. I work my full-time job, as you know, with you. And
well, you're employed.
Well, I'm employed, yeah. And then weekends I do my gigging and whatnot. And if I'm not gigging, I'm rehearsing. If I'm not rehearsing, I'm writing new music because we're an original act. So I'm constantly on the go with my music as well as working and then trying to look after children. And it's quite a hectic schedule. And I'm still trying to find that boundary of where you cut off and say, no, you know what, this weekend I'm doing nothing. I'm going to spend it with the missus and kids because that very rarely ever happens.
So let's talk a little bit about your band, right? Yeah. What sort of what style, what genre of music would you say it is?
We are classed as modern blues / rock.
Yeah. Now, I must admit, I will be honest with you. The first time I listened to it, I was just like, it wasn't my style of music, and I was taken to it, but it just wasn't my style of music. And I'm the sort of person that when I've got my style of music, I'm very much a dance and an indie sort of person, a 90s sort of person, and it didn't sit in to my category. But I must admit, since I've been listening to it a little bit more, I'm kind of liking what you're doing, mate. It's something different for down here.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm kind of liking what you're doing. It's tell listeners at home, what sort of who you've got in the band, because you've had a little bit of a change, haven't you, around?
Yeah, we have. Well, the person that stuck by me the whole time is Marc Robey, who's my lead guitarist and also my father, who taught me how to play.
He is your father.
It is my father. So I've got him. On bass guitar, I've got Stevie Sampson now, which is a recent change. I used to have Butters on there. And Stevie Sampson's a hugely talented musician.
Very good.
Some of your listeners may have heard him before or know of him as a solo artist. And on drums, I have Steve Carter, who's the drama queen of the band.
We've got to have one.
Yeah, everybody's got one, yeah. And
does a band need a drummer?
I don't know, actually.
I've heard it said many times before. The drummer and the bass player seems to get a lot of stick, don't they?
Yeah, they do. On backing vocals, I have Lily, and on keys, I have Jim Berry. And recently rejoining me, I've just had my harmonica player, Billy.
Great. Well, we're gonna play a couple of your songs a little bit later on, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But like I said, it is Mental Health Awareness Month this month, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it to you because you chucked a question at me last week. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what the question was. Do you remember what it was?
Can schizophrenic people hold down a job, and how do their work colleagues feel working around them?
Yeah, no, we did talk briefly about that on last week's podcast, and go over and check that out. But I thought I wanted to get you in because you have got a couple of issues yourself that you wanted to talk to me about, and I thought it was only good to get straight from the horse's mouth, shall we say? So, how does the topic of mental health affect you personally?
I was diagnosed years ago with paranoid schizophrenia. Also severe anxiety, which is quite unusual doing music and doing all this stuff, because normally in front of people and whatnot, you can't normally do it. Anyway, that aside, I was diagnosed with that years ago. And
how many years ago did you say? 8 years ago?
No, 11 years ago was my original diagnosis of organic, blimey, let me think, organic psychotic disorder.
Crikey, that's a hard thing to say. So what does that exactly mean then?
Well, organic psychotic disorder, from what I can understand, is the same diagnosis as schizophrenia, but they can't diagnose it as generic,
right?
Through family, unless there's history. So if there's 2 or more in the family with schizophrenia, if one of my children now were to get a mental health illness, it's more than likely it would be diagnosed as schizophrenia.
I didn't know that. I didn't realise that it was kind of hereditary.
Yeah.
Really? You learn something new every day, don't you? So, you say you found out about that about 11 years ago. What were your symptoms, and how did you know first off that you had a problem?
I knew because I was waking up in a hospital bed every morning thinking, where the hell am I?
Right. Because you had an accident, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll basically then, if you don't mind, talk about how you ended up in that hospital.
Yeah. Well, I was in the Marines, obviously, at the time of the accident, and I was getting picked up from a place called Vineyard Hotel, and my driver lost control on black ice, of which I banged my head. Later I went into a chronic tonic seizure, of which I died. The ambulance crew revived me, and then when I got to the hospital I died again and went on a life support machine. When I came round, things were just never quite the same again. The accident basically damaged my temporal lobes, and from there on in it formed schizophrenia. And my life changed forever, really.
So how did it change? How did it change you?
I have up to 6 voices at any one time in my head, continuously, from 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And how do you control that then? Because I can't. The only voice that I get in my head is the missus upstairs nagging. I can't imagine what you must be going through. How do you control it?
There's lots of things. First of all, obviously, I'm heavily medicated to help me get through day-to-day life. So the medication helps. I have a CPM worker who's absolutely fantastic. She's really good. Comes and sees me every week. We go through any issues, any problems I'm having. She's absolutely fantastic. And that's a Plym Healthcare team. Also, there's techniques you use when you're suffering, little things like warm water from the shower head over your head. Just have a shower and watch TV, distract yourself. There's lots of little techniques you can use to distract things from going on in your head.
So you had the accident when you was in the forces.
Yeah.
You woke up in a hospital bed. I'm guessing that it wasn't instant that they was telling you that you had this issue.
No.
How long did it take before you realised that things weren't quite right?
Well, to be diagnosed with the organic psychotic disorder, it took him 2 years, 3 years.
About 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So, you must have been in a right state up to that.
I had no money, no income, because I had no official diagnosis. I had no benefit, nothing.
Shocking, mate. How low did you get? Did you ever consider at any stage, taking your life? Have you ever got that low?
Yes, absolutely. I've been put in hospital and sectioned, being that low. Yeah.
And I really don't know what to say. I mean, what would you say? What would you say to people out there that wake up in a situation like that? Because I mean, we're all of us are in a stage at the moment, I think, in life where there's so much depression, there's so much hatred going on in the world. There's so many people arguing at one another and shouting. The world at the moment is an unhappy place. And I'm 40 now. I've never been in a situation now where I've seen so many people off with sickness, depression, and that sort of thing. Me personally, a couple of times, my missus has said to me that she thinks I should go to the doctors and be checked for depression because I don't sleep very well. If when I do sleep, I wake up in the morning and I'm as tired as what I was before I went to bed. Yeah. Very moody, barking at the kids at times, and there's times when I've thought about going to see the doctor. But at what stage do you say, I've got to go and see somebody?
I think for me personally, my experience of it all over the last 11, 12 years would be to say the second you stop loving yourself or remembering to love yourself first before anyone else, that's the minute, something's not right.
Yeah. And like I say, we are in a society, like I was just saying now, where there's so many people with depression. And
1 in 3.
1 in 3, is it? And it's not all about money. You don't, the thing is, what I'm getting at is we're seeing celebrities now taking their lives.
Yeah.
So it's not money, it's not people that have got money, don't get stressed and now don't have depression. I mean, we've had Chris Cornell in the last week, who we've now found out took his own life. Why do you think it is that people can't cope with life anymore? And why are children in school? Why have we got such an increase of children self-harming? What do you think? I know it's not similar. It's not the same sort of thing as what you have to deal with, but it is still a mental issue, isn't it? I
think the added pressures of life for our generation to help our children are so much more now. I believe it just progresses a lot quicker. Within your own brain, something must trigger, I think, that makes it a lot. And most importantly of all, with adults now, it's become so much more recognizable what's going on, and it is more open. It's gradually not becoming a taboo subject like it's always been. People are more open about talking about it. So I think it's not so much that there's more people suffering with it now. I think it's just that there's more recognized symptoms and more openly talking people. So obviously, with those combined, there's going to be a lot higher percentage now of people that are being diagnosed with some form of mental health. As for children self-harming, again, I think this is a backlash of, where do you draw a line on subjects of an age as to teaching about mental health? Because my children have no awareness of mine. I haven't sat them down and talked to them about it. They know nothing about it. I try to keep it from them. Do
you think that they have not noticed, or do you think they might have picked up on something? Because I mean, like you say, children are very good at picking up signs. What age do you think you should say something?
I don't think there's an age to set. I think there's a time where if they start asking me questions, then I have to make a judgment call at that time and moment as to whether I feel it's appropriate to discuss things about me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that one, mate. It's the NHS. I mean, you said just a while ago that you get somebody that comes in and helps you out. I take it that is funded by the NHS. It's not done through a private organisation.
No, it's the NHS.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if the NHS, because I'm not very wise on this one. I haven't done my research, so I do apologise. But are the NHS a separate organisation to the department, the health, how can we put it? The mental health department. Are they a separate department, or do they both work together? Because we was talking about this on last week, I think.
They're a separate team. They have their own budget. Not a very good budget, not a justified budget for what they do. They're very hardworking people. Excuse me. They're very hardworking people that deserve a lot bigger budget and a lot more help with the jobs they have to do and what they have to go through every day themselves, you know, seeing and dealing with every individual they have to go to. They're having to cut more and more off their list as to people they can see because the budget and time isn't there, which is very sad to hear.
Do you get any help at all from the forces? Have they got their own mental health department that help you at all?
I was left to it. Luckily for me, the Royal British Legion were absolutely amazing and stepped in and got me help with the Veteran Agency.
Right, okay.
And the Veteran Agency helped me eventually. And that was down to the Royal British Legion, though, but the Marines left me high and dry, really.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. So now, how you are here now, today, how is your life right now?
Tiring. I started work at early o'clock this morning.
Yeah. And
no, my life's pretty good. I've got 3 wonderful children. I've got a beautiful missus that I'm getting married to in October.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And
don't ask me to come and DJ your wedding because I've given up.
I've got a great job and my band's going really, really well. So I've got a lot of things to be very happy about right now.
I was talking to a South African lad last week, Blaze, and I was also listening to a Joe Rogan podcast in the week, and they were talking about mental health issues. And Joe Rogan was talking about, he was actually talking about celebrities that take their lives and people that take their lives. And he said that he couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand how it must get that low. He thinks that what you need to do is try and give yourself a hobby and give you something to keep your mind occupied to help you through a situation. Do you think that is good advice?
I would have totally disagreed if I was there.
You'd have headbutted him.
I would have. And then I would have said to him, how does that feel? And he would have said, it hurts.
But does being in a band help your problems?
Yeah, it does. I use the voices that I have to help me write songs. So I can't take full credit for all songs that you hear because I get a lot of help.
You can't get a copyright for it.
Yeah.
So is it something that you ever get over?
I very much doubt it. There was a study to say that at the age of 40, a big percentage of people with schizophrenia, it just disappears, just like that, which is an odd thing, I know, but it's true. But I don't see that happening with me. I'm hitting 40 very closely and things don't seem to be getting better, so I'm not too sure that'll happen for me.
Do you fancy having a break? Should we put a song on?
Yeah, let's put a song on.
We're going to put your first song on. What's the song called? You sent me 2 songs. You didn't give me any names for the 2 songs. You just sent me 2 songs.
You just said send me 2 songs.
What's the name of the first song you sent me? And tell us a little bit about it.
The first song is I sent you 1 cover and 1 original. We don't normally do covers, but I wanted to send you one so that people can compare us to how other people have done things. So this first track was our version of a song called Crossroads by Robert Lee Johnson. And it's one of the most popular blues songs you can come across. It's a lot different how we've done it. It's a lot more rockier, and hopefully you can enjoy it.
Going down the crossroad, fell down on my knees now. I'm going down the crossroad and fell down on my knees now. I beg the Lord for mercy, or take me here to please now. Going down the crossroad, I'm trying to flare a ride. I'm going down the crossroad, I'm trying to Take me one more time now, Jim.
That was Crossroads by the Ben Robey Band.
Oh, I like that, mate. Really enjoyed it. Like I say, I didn't know what to think of your music before, but it sounds to me very much like the Rolling Stones.
Well, they are a big influence on me.
They are?
Yeah.
What is your musical influences? I haven't asked you that yet.
No, you have never asked me that, actually. My influences are Lynyrd Skynyrd, Rolling Stones, C6 Steve, Muddy Waters.
I'm seeing C6 Steve for the fourth time in the summer.
I went and saw him in Manchester, actually.
Yeah. How long ago was that? What did you think?
It wasn't long ago, and he was absolutely amazing. It was just phenomenal. Yeah, it really was. But the Rolling Stones was the best one I ever went to at the O2.
Well, I got a story about the Rolling Stones.
Oh, have you?
I seen them in 2013 at Glastonbury. I saw one of their songs and then walked off.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, I got a lot of stick from it. I mean, I do some crazy things when I go to festivals. Like in 2010, I decided that I wasn't going to watch Stevie Wonder. I was going to literally go off and do a wander, and I ended up basically in a silent disco tent for about 2 hours by myself, just randomly dancing to Aqua Girl, Barbie, and a bit of heavy metal in the other earphone. The way I see it, I mean, I wasn't at the time a fan of his, so I thought, well, what's the point in standing there and watching his music when there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other things to do at Glastonbury? Now I look back on it, I think what a twat, because I would have loved to have seen him. But the Rolling Stones, the reason why I didn't watch them was because on another stage, the West Holt stage, Public Enemy were playing.
Right.
Now, I was very much a hip-hop lad in the 90s, and Public Enemy were as big as what the Rolling Stones are in their music industry. So I watched, I think, one or two of their songs and then strolled off to watch Public Enemy. And I will say to this day, I think I've done the right thing.
I beg to differ, but
so there we are. So that was what song? What did you say the song was called again?
Crossroads.
And the Ben Robey Band. What gigs have you got coming up now soon?
Okay, so what weekend are we on? We got Bank Holiday weekend, haven't we?
We have.
You can catch us at the Miners Arms for the Beer and Cider Festival, Saturday daytime. And then we will be rushing down to the
Miners Arms. That is in Plymouth, isn't it?
That's in Plymouth, yes, towards Dartmoor. And then in the evening or Saturday night, we are at the Union in Sotash.
In Sotash, yeah. Because I can't go to that.
What?
I'm down the caravan, mate.
Oh, down caravan. Mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you can catch us down there in the evening. I can't think ahead of that, I'm afraid. So,
well, a lot of our listeners are all around the world. So how do they find you? You're on Spotify. Are you on iTunes?
We are on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on all the usual palaver. Just type in the Ben Robey Band, spelled Robey, and we'll come straight up on Google, etc. And you'll find us pretty easy.
And I will put the links to the Ben Robey Band on my show notes there for you to check out and find him. So going all the way back to the original question that you sent me last week, which was, again?
Can a schizophrenic person hold down a job, and how do work colleagues feel about working around them?
What is your answer to that question?
I believe you can hold down a job, and it depends on the individual of the work colleagues as to whether you can hold down that job or not, because you do need a lot of help here or there. For example, this morning I had to see our boss and say to him, look, can I be excused from IPS this morning due to the fact I couldn't be in the crowd this morning? There's too much going on in my head. So luckily he said, I'll do that for you. You go off to your frame and just sort the frame out.
Do you get a lot of support from your current work that you're in at the moment?
I believe I do. I think everybody's understanding. They're all good people in there, and I'm very lucky to have that around me. Like I was saying, if I didn't have people like yourself and everybody else in that office helping me, I'm not saying I need more help than anybody else, because I do just as much help for other people as they do for me in there. But if they didn't help me, I don't feel I'd be able to hold the job down.
Are all employees like it? I mean,
No.
I take it there's a lot of employees out there that do not understand the situation you're in. I mean,
no, they don't.
What do you do? I mean, obviously they're paying your wages. Is there anybody that you can go and see to give you some support and to explain? Because it seems to me like what this country needs is somebody as an in between to go to your employer and say, look, this is the situation. You're going to have to adapt the job to them. Is there anybody out there like that?
Well, this is where the problem is. You've got one or two choices. You're either one of these people that will be able to put your head down, speak to your partner, whoever it is that's close to you, and just get on with the job. Or unfortunately, you can be in a position where you think, no, I can't do this. And there's no shame in that. If you can't, you can't. You go to the doctor, get a sick note, and you're off.
What triggers these things then in your mind?
There's not necessarily a trigger.
There must be something that makes it worse.
There are certain things for me that make it worse, but they're not things I can discuss on here.
Right, okay, that's fair
so
enough.
I can't go into that, I'm afraid. But as for other individuals, I'm assuming it would be different for each individual on their own basis, so I can't really answer on other people's behalf either. But I don't tend to find there's certain triggers to make me really ill. I can just turn like that in a split second to be totally different, very down, and then next minute I'm fine. And then I could... Before, when I was going into hospital, I was going in and completely unaware of reality for days at a time, and then I'd just come out of it. It's very strange how it works, and there was no trigger to set that off.
Well, I wish you all the best. It must be a horrible situation to be in, and like I say, I will try and find a link of for anybody out there that do feel they have any problems, that they can possibly click on a link that we will find, and that may put you. Do you know any at all?
Mine are really good.
Right. Okay. So we'll find the link in a second, and I'll put it also on the show notes for anybody out there that may be experiencing some issues. Thank you very much for coming in, Ben. I really, really do appreciate you coming in and opening up and telling my listeners the issues that you have every day, and it can't be easy. And I thank you very much for coming in and doing that. Before you do go, we got one more song to play.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me a little bit about the other song. Now, like I say, I do appreciate we got two songs close together tonight. It's because we've been rattling on and talking, and I do this. I just go on and go on and go on, and I went through my notes, and I actually went past the bit where it says play one of their songs. So we're going to play two songs right towards the end of the show, but it doesn't really matter. They're two good songs. Tell us a little bit about the second song that you've chosen to play.
The second song is called Bear of a Man. It was one of my first ever tracks that was aired on BBC, and this is one of our more popular tracks when we play live as well. I was one of the producers that used to do a lot of early work for me, Joe Biddle. He, his partner at the time, called me a lumberjack, Canadian lumberjack, due to my checkered shirts and my rough look and whatnot. And then that progressed on to saying that I sounded like a bear of a man. And I wrote the song Bear of a Man, and now, since then, everything orientated towards the music's been towards a bear of a man, i.e. myself. So this is quite an important track to me. It's my little baby that started my whole music taking off as a band.
Great, mate. Well, thank you very much for coming in. We're going to put this on now. You look after yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoy the caravan bike.
I will do. Bye. Catch you soon.
Howling bear on a Friday night, doing everything he ever can. Long fine. Oh, now take some of my time. The Lord understands how she made me blind. The Lord knows down the barrel. Sailors go sleep, yeah, now real tight. The Lord understands that these cubs bite. Look at your papa grow real strong and puts on a show all night long. The Lord knows down every man. 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 The Lord knows I'm a bear of a man.
So there we have it. That was the Ben Robey Band. He was Ben Robey, and I think you'll agree he was and is a top bloke. Thank you very much, Ben, for coming in and having a little bit of a chat to us on a very, very, how can we put it, delicate topic. Check him out, the Ben Robey Band, on Facebook. You can catch them on iTunes. You can catch them on Spotify. You can also catch me on iTunes. You can catch me on Mixcloud. Check me out on my webpage, which is jaff10.simplesite.com with the W's in front. You can check me out on Facebook, and you can also send me an email, jaff10@hotmail.com. You can also send me a Twitter at Mr. Jaff10. Thank you very much, guys. I cannot promise you there's going to be a show next week, as I'm away down the caravan on half term with the children. I may do one and pre-record it and, schedule it. I don't know yet, but it'll either be next week or the week after. So I leave you with this one thought. Look after yourselves and others, and remember, your life may not be as crazy as you once thought it was.